On today's show, better bundle up. Frostbite is guaranteed on a day like this.
We do this stuff, right?
And Minnesota ice boaters could not be happier. Pristine winter conditions lead to one of our oldest on-ice sports. We strap on snowshoes and hit the trail. And we share a perfect cold weather get-together for those who prefer to celebrate the outdoors indoors.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Everybody, Laura and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound.
Up first, a story of a true winter rarity.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, but when our lakes freeze up just right, a very small but dedicated group of Minnesotans goes nuts.
They have to before the snow and slush ruins their winter fun.
Like an inevitable December punch to the gut, the first bitterly cold winter weather takes the wind out of most folks' sails.
We're from Minnesota. We do this stuff, right?
Bill Allen never minded frostbite.
A little chilly.
Bare-handed and faced to the 0-degree breeze,
Sail is up.
Bill sets up to chill with a few friends.
Ready? So there's Judd. Here we are, still doing it. So what can you say? We love it.
Actually, they love Mother Nature's random act. See, cold temps lock up lakes before any snow falls. The weather creates this.
Actually, is like a Zamboni coming out on the lake.
An ice boater's version of pure gold.
I mean, this ice is just pristine. You don't get to see this very often.
There are years when that boat sits in the barn for 5-6 years in a row, and then you get great ice, and you got to be out here.
It's just sailing, you know.
Sailing boats built on ice skates.
This is about a 1980 e-skeeter. I've got foot pedals and a steering wheel for turning the front runner. I like fast red Italian cars, and so I decided I better paint this red.
Judson Dayton's ride can slide along at 100 in a 20-mile-per-hour blow.
But they just go fast because there's so little friction compared to a sailboat in water.
An act pleasing to both the eye and the ear.
Well, the sound really is the blade on the ice. The sound travels pretty good.
Minnesotans have always embraced frostbite-inducing wind.
They are a little crazy.
Ice boats started as a settler's form of winter transportation. On Lake Minnetonka in the late 1800s, these boats became sport. Risk-takers skipped across Tonka's frozen skin in giant rigs up to 50 feet long. Minnetonka's turn-of-the-century ice yacht club, as grand as the sport itself.
The lure is to be able to go out and sail and to race.
Bill Allen loves harboring wind. This sailor recognized around the globe.
Well, Bill has been a big sailor on Minnetonka and other places for a long time.
I was in the Olympics in 1972. We won a gold medal. It was quite an experience for a 24-year-old from Minnesota.
He still sails on open water, but he loves the ice too.
I love being with my friends, and it's a great thing that we get to do.
Minnesota's cool, not-so-new sport. The icy activity where boats might cost a few bucks, but the frostbite comes free.
It's cold.
But when you finally get home and warm, it's like, wow, that was a good workout. When the ice is this smooth, it's just wonderful.
I have my snowshoes.
Coming up next, Laura Schara helps you get started in snowshoeing.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, Ice Castle Fish House and RV, Star Bank, and by Ice Force by Rapala.
Snowshoeing. In the past, snowshoes made of wood and rawhide were essential tools for fur traders, trappers, and anyone whose living depended on the ability to get around deep areas of snowfall. Today, snowshoes are mainly used for recreation and just enjoying some winter fun in the snow. But how do you get started? The folks at LL Bean are here to help us out.
Hi, Anthony.
Hi, Laura. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. I am looking to get outside and get some exercise, and I heard that snowshoeing is the perfect way to do that, but I'm not quite sure how to get started. Is there some suggestions you can give me?
Absolutely, yeah, you've come to the right place. We have a lot of different kinds of snowshoes at LL Bean. You know, really, to start, where do you plan on snowshoeing at?
Well, to get started, I'll probably stay local, so I'm not planning on hitting the mountains anytime soon, but of course it's Minnesota, so I'm guessing I might hit some deep snow.
You're gonna need three things to get started snowshoeing. You need snowshoes, poles, and some nice winter boots. So let me first show you the winter walkers. These are our most popular model. This is a real nice introductory snowshoe. There's some basic parts to it. You have the deck, the binding, the frame, and the crampons, which are going to keep you from slipping. You basically just tuck the front of your boot in there, into the front of the binding, tighten up the rear part of the binding, and then clasp over the top. Tighten everything up, and you have a nice secure fit. The third thing you need is a nice pair of snowshoeing poles. This is our winter walker model. This is a telescoping pole, which basically means that a user can adjust it to any height they want.
Okay, Anthony, now if I really fall in love with snowshoeing and want to hit the mountains, can I still use my winter walkers, or do I need a different type of snowshoe?
The Pathfinder snowshoe is made exclusively for LL Bean by the Tubbs Company. It has a different binding. The frame is a little bit wider, and it also has different crampon orientation and position on the deck of the snowshoe. We also have the MSR Revo snowshoe, which is an ultra lightweight snowshoe, and this comes in a men's and women's model as well. Very lightweight. As you can see, different features, different crampons, traction on the sides as well as in the middle, and this is good for different ice and snow conditions as well.
So I have my snowshoes, boots, and poles, but I also understand LL Bean gives lessons?
We do at LL Bean. We not only like to sell gear to people, but we like to show them how to use it. So we have clinics on every Tuesday and Thursday on topics like snowshoeing basics and local places to snowshoe. And we also offer discovery courses on snowshoeing every Saturday and Sunday all winter long.
That sounds like a ton of fun. Can I come along?
Yeah, sure, let's go.
All right.
Okay, I just left the store and I have my snowshoes, my walking poles, and most importantly, I have Siri here from LL Bean's Outdoor Discovery Schools to show me how to use these.
Well, welcome, Laura. It's really easy to snowshoe. We'll just put our snowshoes on and then we'll go over some basics.
Ready. All right, Siri, am I all good here?
Now your feet are twice the size that they normally would be. So make sure when you're walking that your feet are nice and far apart. And we've added these poles so we can test out the snow and see how it is. So just make sure, like you're walking, you're just swinging opposite foot with your opposite arm.
Pretty much just go ahead and walk.
Go ahead and walk.
All right, here we go. This is such great exercise, too.
It really is, actually. You'll find that as you do it more and more.
There you have it. If you're looking for an easy way to get outside and enjoy the winter months, snowshoeing just may be your ticket. But most important, just get outside.
Still ahead, we go indoors as anglers get ready for a new season outside. And later, the goofiest grouse tail around. Meet the deer hunting grouse named Gilbert.
Closed captioning provided by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Up next, two of my all-time favorites, trout and beer on tap. One brewery found the perfect tie between fly fishing and winter fun.
Okay, a Minnesota winter twist on one of life's bubbliest traditions.
Bob, you need a beer?
These craft brew pundits turned happy hour into one ecstatic evening.
Hello, hello, hello. I just want to thank everybody for coming out here to Trout on Tap, put on by Able Brewery. There's a lot of people in here. People are going to be drinking craft beer, tying flies. Let's have a good time. All right.
Let me explain. See, Able Seed House and brewery owners John Mowry and Casey Hawley love beer, of course, but they share another equally alluring obsession.
3 of the 4 founders are big fly fishermen.
We've always wanted to tie in fly fishing to some degree here to the brewery, and also this idea of a workshop.
We've invited the community up here to tie flies.
Simply an evening where all guests share a vice. No, not that one. This one. The idea is simple enough. People come in, buy a beer or 2 or 3, and tie a few fishing flies, and maybe learn a new trick or 2.
We have some of the greatest tires in Minneapolis here today.
Like this guy, known as the Goat.
This is a rendition of Todd's Wiggle Minnow. We call it the Wild Thing.
Andy Roth guides trout trips and ties flies. Oh yeah, he likes beer too.
I'm always the guy too that's gonna bring the can of Pabst Blue Ribbon because I think some of my friends have turned into beer snobs, right?
Things are going really well right now. We're currently pouring this infusion that's a mix between seaweed and gungfer. Gungfer is an ingredient they discovered about 26 years ago in the... sorry, is that too much?
No, that's perfect.
I'm old school, right? I'm old. I'm an old codger, but I enjoy every minute of this.
He is not alone.
We all like beer. Fly tying, we add that in there, you know, it's all good.
And makes perfect sense. After all, more than 1,500 Minnesota streams and tributaries support trout. That's 6,500 miles of fishable water. Who knew?
So we want to highlight kind of the Minnesota connection to the fly fishing world through our brewery.
Problem is, when you own the joint, not much time for fun.
I have my vice, but I have a feeling I'll probably be behind the bar a little bit more than at the vice tonight.
So goes Abel's first fly tie night. By the looks of things, this might be an idea worth tapping into. Straight ahead, an instant Minnesota-bound classic. This grouse became Travis Edquist's hunting buddy.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Cass Lake Chain of Resorts, Hewitt Docks, Lifts, and Pontoon Legs, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Up next, a story that became an instant Minnesota-bound classic.
Laura Schara decided to hit the trail with Travis Edquist to meet Minnesota's goofiest grouse.
It's the fall of 2011, deer hunting time in Minnesota. Travis Edquist was on his way to check a few deer trails in the woods near Red Wing, Minnesota.
It was early morning. I had my four-wheeler.
Travis had no idea. He was riding into his own twilight zone, a place beyond ordinary, where things that don't make sense seem to do so.
He all of a sudden walked right up to me. I thought, this is a very goofy grouse. I was afraid I was going to scare him, but instead of scaring him, he ended up following me.
A wild, rough grouse following a deer hunter?
I only saw him once or twice that year.
Next deer season, the same thing.
And I couldn't figure out what was coming through the weeds to me until it got about 5 feet from me. And here it was that grouse. I decided I gotta get walking. So I started walking, and the little fella starts following me. The first 2 years, I told my dad and my brother about it, and they still hadn't seen him yet. They thought I was a little goofy. But eventually, the third year, they started seeing him coming around, and it was after that he was coming around every time we were down in the woods.
Travis soon named his feathered sidekick Gilbert.
Gilbert just kind of rolled off my tongue with a G. Gilbert the Grouse.
And every time Travis climbed into his deer stand,
he flew up into the deer stand with me. Rung by rung, he flies up the ladder. And then he likes to sit on the gun rail or on my shoulder. Come on, what you doing? What you doing? You coming? Are you hungry? Huh? Are you hungry? You gonna be quiet? We're trying to deer hunt. Looking for deer. Quiet. You gotta be quiet. We're looking for deer. Yeah, we're looking for deer. Shh. Gotta be quiet. Gotta be quiet. We're looking for deer.
in moments like this, we tend to seek a reasonable explanation for Gilbert's bizarre behavior. It began 6 years ago. That alone is remarkable. In the wild, rough grouse rarely survive more than 2 years.
Yes, I'm very sure it's the same bird.
But what possibly attracted Gilbert to a deer hunter?
When he first started coming around, I thought it was the thumping of the motor that drew his attention. But when it got into the heart of deer hunting season, I would park my ATV a long ways away and make my walk into the woods, and he would eventually find me.
Maybe there's another explanation for the behavior of this goofy grouse. Travis thinks so.
I don't know if it has necessarily anything to do with the ATV or not anymore. Some people have often suggested that it might be my grandfather coming back as a grouse. His most joy was to be out in the woods hunting with his grandkids.
Grandpa Bob introduced Travis to the ways of the woods. He died in 2002.
2002 on Thanksgiving Day, we were out deer hunting.
Is there somehow a connection between Grandpa Bob and Gilbert? Who knows? Nature forever leaves us with mystery and questions without answers. Hanging in the woods with Gilbert the grouse, we can only wonder.
I hope we get a call about another grouse like Gilbert.
Oh, if we do, we are going to try to gather that story.
Well, that about does it for us. We'll see you back here next week.
Until then, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. To get more Minnesota Bound, including full episodes, go to mnbound.com. And to follow our latest adventures, like us on Facebook.